PowerTalks, wise words from wise women, where powerful women at the top of their game share their experience and practical wisdom with you. I have one of those powerful wise women with us today, Susan Leath. Susan, thanks for being here.
And thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure and excited to be with you, my friend.
Susan is currently the director at the Center for Innovation and Sustainability in Local Media at the University of North Carolina's Hussman School of Journalism and Media. Her executive experience includes past positions as president and publisher of several newspapers, as well as regional president and publisher in the USA Today network. In today's episode, I'll be talking to Susan about her experience not only as a woman, but as a Black woman, rising through the ranks to be one of the few Black females to reach the title of president and publisher in the newspaper industry. She'll share her story and experiences and offer her advice on the power of personal resilience. Now, we've known each other for quite a while now, Susan, and I've always been struck by something. I've been struck by your ability to persist, persevere, and reinvent yourself in any circumstance. Now, I believe that our stories shape us and shape some of these qualities that we exhibit as adults. Can you talk to us a little bit about your personal story and your background and how you think that shaped you?
Well, as you know, I dealt with a lot of adversity in my childhood, which led me to enter the foster care system, and then eventually at St. Mary's Group Home in Mobile, Alabama. So from the start, I knew I had to make my own way. After I graduated from high school, I put everything I had into a paper bag and got on a Greyhound bus to California to live with my aunt and uncle. There, I attended a community college, and then got to UCSB, your neck of the woods in California. But I missed my family, and so I transferred to the University of Alabama to be with my sister, who was studying to become an engineer. And I had to work multiple different jobs to pay bills and, frankly, to put food on the table. After graduating from the University of Alabama with a degree in advertising, I accepted a position with the New York Times regional group in Florida, part of a management training program. I knew early in my career I wanted to be a leader in the media industry as a change agent. I later met John Fitzwater. At the time, he was a publisher of the Gainesville Sun. He's now retired, who said to me, "You'll be publisher one day." And John believed in my talent, and he knew in order for me to get to the C-suite level, I needed to have access and exposure to information. And he's been my mentor ever since.
Wow.
So I started in the circulation and advertising, and went all the way to become the only African-American female publisher of a general circulated newspaper in the United States. Then rose to become a regional president and publisher, as you noted, with the Gannett papers along the East Coast. I was determined not to allow my past to define me, not to carry excuses in my pocket. I think, I was proving it to myself and anything that I ever took on, that with the right mindset, Janet, I was capable of achieving great success.
Yeah. Wow. That's quite a story, Susan. I know every time I hear it, I'm inspired by it.
Well, and you know me. I mean, I'm like the people describe me as one full speed ahead rhythm, right?
That's right.
Right, which is, and for me, it's to focus on how I can help and how I can be of service and help each project or each person I mentor fulfill their potential. I was lucky to have, or blessed, I like to say, to have good mentors and colleagues. And I want to be as good or better as I was fortunate enough to receive along the way with my career.
Now, what were the biggest obstacles you faced as a woman rising in a male-dominated industry like the newspaper industry?
I would say being underestimated, for sure. I'm a person driven, as you know, and when you're ambitious and you've demonstrated a high acumen for your work and you demonstrate capabilities in what you do, especially as an African-American woman,
I
You
was
have
going to
to
ask you that. Yeah.
navigate all types of microaggressions. When you are persistent, you're capable, driven, and you challenge the status quo, people sometimes see you particularly as the woman, the B word, the bitch word, right? Whereas men are determined fighters, winners, and some, for me, some with power was fine to let me run as long as I stayed in my place, which I had to constantly navigate, along the way in my career to reach up to that C-suite level.
So let me ask you this question. In light of the current climate and the current calls for systemic change, what do you think needs to happen to produce real change?
I think, I've had a lot of conversations about this. Frankly, first, folks have to vote at the local, state, and national level to ensure legislation is signed to create systemic change. Bottom line, we need to focus on the wealth gap. If you look at $171,000, the net worth of a typical white family is nearly 10 times greater than that of a Black family, which is $17,000. And that was a study that was done back in 2016, according to the Brookings Institute. But that number has even widened into today's times. There's lots of reason for that, starting with the New Deal legislation, which was not only discriminated against Blacks, it also, it was the biggest contributor to widening the wealth gap between white and Black Americans. The New Deal created white middle class and left out Black Americans. The history of redlining, discriminating practices amongst hiring and recruiting, and it is what it is. The long-standing issue of white privilege, right? Equal education, access to quality health care, predominantly amongst were closed. Those doors were closed to African Americans, and it all adds up to oppression and keeps the average Black family from getting ahead. We need opportunities to build wealth. We need more capital investment in Black-owned businesses, healthcare to keep people well so that they can reach their potential. We need to invest in education. We need to change the allocation of government spends per capita or per pupil to educate our children versus money spent per capita to imprison them. We need that same New Deal that was implemented in the 1930s for white folks to create generational wealth for Black families. And frankly, the media, the media is complicit. We have to do a better job in creating diverse newsrooms, get Black people to the table in terms of media framing, and in telling narratives of underrepresented communities. Many of our stories are inaccurate, not because someone has misquoted or some bedrock fact was wrongly reported. It's inaccurate because of the error of omission in thinking and gathering voices and data points to support a more inclusive narrative that includes the African American perspective. Corporate journalism didn't put nearly enough rigor into diversity hires. There was a lot of talk, but not a lot of action.
We have a long way to go in media and journalism, and it sounds like your role at the University of North Carolina's School of Journalism and Media is playing a big part in trying to shape some of that.
Yeah. When I left News for Academia, I was, of course, nervous about it, but I knew I was ready to help the news industry in a new way. The program I direct at the University of Hussman School of Journalism and Media, the Center for Sustainability, Innovation and Sustainability in Local Media, we are focused on finding evidence-based answers to these extraordinary issues facing the industry. And those answers must be sustainable. When I think about my career, I think about every high and every low I've seen in my news career has led me right here where I'm at right now. So I'm excited about the opportunity that we have right now at UNC. A couple of different things that we do. We work on the U.S. News Desert Project, which really talks to us about, where the gap. We just released our report last week, and it talked about over the span of 15 years, we saw 2,100 different news organizations disappear. We also saw in that same 15 years an emergence of 1,000 plus ethnic-only media organizations bubble up over that same span. Still, for both industries, for both traditional and ethnic only media, it's about creating sustainability. And that's what we're focused on with UNC. Our program is funded by Knight Foundation. And what we do is we invite media organizations to participate in a program for us called our table stakes program. And what we do is we invite you, it's like a fellowship program, it's like a mini MBA, if you will, where media organizations spend a year with some of the best consultants in the world that talk about how to create sustainability. We also just recently partnered with Google on a project called Project Oasis. And what that project is about we're doing a research study of sustainability in digital media. What are some of the crucial choices digital media is making, and then what are some of the best practices that we can replicate for sustainability? And, like I said, when I think about my whole career, it's like it's kind of, every step along the way has positioned me for where I'm at right now.
Wow. What a noble mission, right? And what a way to contribute back some of the things that you've learned in the newspaper industry and changing that whole narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. What were the secrets to your success becoming a senior executive in a large corporation?
My strong foundation starts with, for me, I'm not going to surprise you. For me, the secret to my success is my husband and my family. We met 30 years ago, and hey, we just celebrated our 28th year anniversary last Saturday.
That's a celebration.
It is. He's my rock. He's my support system. And every single day he reminds me of who I am.
Wow.
Our 3 children, my oldest daughter is a lawyer. Our middle daughter is working on her master's degree right now in public relations. And our son is getting his undergraduate degree in finance. And they constantly remind me daily in terms of the lessons that I have taught them in case I get off track, right?
They keep you humble, right?
They keep me humble. They keep me humble. But I've been blessed to have amazing mentors, starting with John Fitzwater, that I said along the way, who I have known for 20 years and I turn to for advice all the time. And Virgil Smith, someone who recruited me many years ago, who has later, he's a philanthropist, he's retired now from the industry, but he has been a trusted friend and someone that I have, sought out for advice along the way. Another part of my success in moving through the ranks is to realize that there is a season for everything. So I focus on where I can make an impact, is where I really kind of focus on in terms of, again, how I can help and how I can be of service in the things that I do, is one of those things I like to keep focused, if you will, in my mind.
Now, what did you learn from this journey?
Stay true to one thing. Again, how I can be of service, how I can help. What do I need to learn? And what do I need to get through the barriers? When you can do this, you can see that it's not what happens, it's how you respond to what happens. You can't take it personally, right? Because it's not personal. It's very important. Taking things personally will hold you back. This is what I tell my children and my mentees. Always be impeccable with your words. Don't use your words against yourself. I don't do it. I don't like it when others do it. I will not tear myself down, and focus on how I can make an impact.
And what advice would you give to women who are facing similar challenges and obstacles as you did, or as you have?
You have to believe in yourself, and believe in your dreams. I mentor a lot of young women, and I'm excited about their future, but it's not enough for me to believe in them. They have to believe in themselves, right? Don't doubt your capabilities. Again, don't even tear other people down to make yourself feel good about yourself, right? Challenge yourself and hone your skills. Find a way around whatever obstacle is in your path.
And what do you think are the secrets to your own personal resilience?
For me, I think it's about looking for opportunities in adversity, roll with it. Sometimes even laugh at it, right? Enjoy your work, celebrate accomplishments, yours and others, and recognize that everything you do is fulfilling your God-given potential, demonstrating your abilities to clear another bar. It takes grit and resilience, which for some may require practice, and patience, but build it up, right? You'll get stronger. Remember, in virtually every endeavor of life, you get out of what you put into it, right? I never give up. I never give into negative energy, finding that it undermines my abilities to believe in my own potential. And above all, I focus on one thing anytime I run into an issue and advise others to do the same. Ask yourself, what can you do? How can you help? What can you do in that situation?
Great, great advice, and very hard to practice, actually. It's a journey, right? I mean, we're all on this journey of trying to practice.
It has to become a muscle for you, is what I say. It has to be a muscle for you.
Yeah. And the more you work it, the stronger it gets. Yeah,
stronger
absolutely.
It gets. Mm-hmm.
Now, this has been, great advice for women and for men, actually, but for women who are watching this. But let me ask you this. What would be the parting words of wisdom you would offer to other women who are struggling or who are having trouble navigating in a male-dominated environment? What parting words of wisdom would you give them?
I love that question. You deserve to be there.
Mm.
You've worked hard. You deserve a seat at the table. Walk into your moment and make an impact. If you see a gender-based discrimination, be a part of the positive change. I've looked at salary numbers and pointed out the differences in pay that I saw in my workplace between male and female employees, and I confronted those issues head on. Be that change agent. Remember, you deserve to be there. Your contributions are valuable.
It sounds so simple, yet it's so profound. You deserve to be there.
You deserve to be there.
Deserve to be there.
Deserve to be there.
Wow.
And walk in your moment. Walk in it. And when you have an opportunity to have a seat at the table, be impactful.
Yeah. It's funny how women, at least the women I work with, we're always looking for permission.
Yeah.
That you are worthy already, you're already powerful, and you deserve to be there.
You deserve to be there.
Wise words from a wise woman. Thank you so much, Susan, for being here and sharing this wisdom. I know this will benefit many people watching this today.
Thank you so much for having me again. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you, my friend.
Same here, Susan. You know what I think about you.